This is an impromptu video. I'm doing a review of the TV show Miraculous Ladybug, The Adventures of Ladybug and Cat Noir. It's a kid's show. I'm not recommending it. It's certainly not what I normally watch. But, I don't know, a year ago, or so, maybe a year and a half, I'm trying to watch. I'm just looking for something to watch. And this was on Netflix. I watch other superhero stuff, so this came up. I watched Phineas and Ferb. I'm surprised I'm doing a kids show review here, because it is a kids show, and it's not Phineas and Ferb. So, yeah, I was came up on my feed. Recommended, and I read the preview of it, and I'm like, meh, here's something to watch, put on in the background while I'm playing a video game, and I don't remember what video game it was. The first episode was The Bubbler. That's a skipper right there. It was not. This is not what's going to draw in an adult. I'm surprised again that I'm doing the review because it's a kid's show. It's aimed at kids. But what surprises me about the show is as you go on, the nuance is there for an adult, which is something I do like. Especially in the character of Adrien. Adrien is Cat Noir, the superhero. These guys are all 15, 16, 14-year-old high school students, except for some of the villains. And Adrien is a paragon of virtue, which is what a hero is supposed to be. And he really is. He is the most heroic character in the show. I think in 3 seasons and 1 special where they go to New York, he makes 2 mistakes in the entire show. 2 in the entire show. Once when he pretends to be a statue, and if you've seen the show, you'll know what I'm talking about. And once where he lets his power of destruction get out of hand. What I like about this character is that he's not what he appears to be. They actually, as one of the 2 named characters in the title, The Adventures of Ladybug and Cat Noir, he's Cat Noir. He does not get a lot of screen time. He gets a decent amount of screen time as, Cat Noir, but he's always fighting, for the most part. He doesn't get a ton of screen time. It's really about Ladybug, which is fine. It's her show. But this guy is... He's about, let's say 15, maybe 16, I don't know. They don't tell us. And he comes from a very strict family. He's a model, and his dad is a fashion designer. Very famous, both of them. And probably a very rich kid. Definitely his dad's rich. If his dad is saving his money for him, which I don't know if he is or not, then Adrien will probably never have to work as an adult. He's on billboards all across Paris. Oh, it's set in France. He's on magazine covers. He plays Cat Noir in the Cat Noir movie, in the Ladybug and Cat Noir movie. Just as the voice acting for it. Like, these are not jobs that you get paid $20 for. And that's fine. But it's a very strict family, and it's actually, as the show goes on, you begin to realize it's a very abusive situation. Adrien's life is very restricted. He doesn't have much freedom. His life is very regimented, and his father ignores him most of the time. His mother disappeared, and we'll get to her. So we find out, as the show continues, that this guy has never been to school. He's had private tutors, and he's only known He's only known and hung out with 2 kids his own age in his entire life. He's 15. He's only hung out with 2 kids his own age in his entire life. And the weird part is, he's not the most isolated character in the show. That's Kagami, who has only known Adrien, and very briefly at that. Since the show started, she's known Adrien. So he knew this girl, Chloe, who is the typical mean girl at the school, the queen bee, as it were. And his cousin Felix, who we only meet in the 3rd season. So the thing about Adrien is, he is a rebel. And you don't see it at first. You don't really notice it until you really get to, it's one of the last episodes of the last season that's out right now. And you meet his dad. You meet his aunt, his mom's twin sister, and his cousin Felix. I'm not going to give away any spoilers here, but everyone else in Adrien's family, everyone he's spent any time with, and the only friend he has before he goes to school, are all self-centered jerks. I'd use stronger language, but I don't really need to. Each and every one of these people is out for themselves and only themselves. And you only really see it with the aunt at the end of the episode, where she praises her son for using sleight of hand to get what he wants, instead of doing it in an honorable or a noble way. Everyone in his family prizes the ends justifying the means. The thing is, as mortals, we can't control the ends. We can only control the means. Like, how we do something is more important than the results, because I can't control the results. I can only control how I attempt to get to where I want to be. Whether I get there or not, if my attempt was in an honorable fashion, then I did good. Whether I succeed or not, if I know I did my best and went about whatever my goal was honorably, that's all you can do. You're not a god. You're not the god. You cannot control the end results. You can only control yourself. So everybody in his family is an ends justify the means person. Adrien is the only one who is a means justify the ends person. He does the right thing no matter what it costs him. No matter what happens, he always chooses to do the right thing. And even when he was playing at a statue in that one episode there, what was that? Puppeteer 2 or whatever it's called. Even when he was pretending to be a statue, he was doing it because he thought it would be funny and he thought it was the right thing to do. There was no malice no malice in his heart in the attempt. When he had the second problem he caused in the trip to the U.S., to New York City, again, it wasn't his fault what happened. It was an accident. He was not trying to cause the events that happened. He was trying to stop them as Cat Noir. And that doesn't slow him down in the least from taking full responsibility for it and trying to make it right in the only way he knows how. As an abused kid, and it's not like he's getting beaten. He's not getting beaten, but his father neglects him, spends zero time with him, is keeping important information about it. I don't want to give that away. That's a spoiler. He's keeping important information away from him that Adrien has a right to know. And yeah, Adrien is definitely a child of abuse and neglect. And the fact that he is not acting like a self-centered jerk, a selfish jerk, makes him the only person in his family who is not a selfish jerk, which makes him the black sheep of the family, the odd man out. And yeah, I'm really, really proud of him. He's a fictional character, and I'm really proud of him. He is definitely, between him and Ladybug, he's the better person. And that shows through time and time again. He never, ever manipulates people. He never, ever treats someone the way he wouldn't want to be treated. He always does the right thing. Always. Even when he screws up, there's 2 giant accidents. Even when that happens, he had good intentions in his heart. He wasn't trying to cause the problems he caused. And that's important because, again, the ends don't justify the means justify the ends. You do your very best and you screw up or you fail, you did your very best. Stand up, do it again. Take a moment, take your breath, do what you got to do to get ready, but you fail, you stand up, and you do it again. Or you chase a new goal or something. You don't let your failure stop you. But you do it with honor. You do it with respect. And you treat people the way you want to be treated. That's what Adrien does. There's more to it. Like, the reason why his relationship with Marinette is so much stronger than he even realizes, because he doesn't know. He doesn't understand how relationships work. That comes up a number of times. He's always scared of screwing up friendships. Always. Because he's never really had one. He's the only person outside of his family that before he starts going to school, he spent significant amounts of time with outside of a working relationship because he's 15 years old and he's been a model for a couple of years and he's famous and very successful. So he's been acting like an adult. He's very good with adults, not too good with kids, and not too good with friends. He doesn't know what he's doing. But early on, the origin episode, not the first episode. I don't know what the first episode was in film order. But the origin episode is on Netflix at like 15. 15th episode, 16th episode. It's in the middle of the first season, towards the end. Second half. And it might even be like 12 or 13. I don't know. I haven't memorized it. When he first gets to school, Chloe is, as Queen Bee, mean girl of the school, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, hides some gum on Marinette's chair so Marinette will be put in her place and show her the proper respect, which is not proper respect at all. It's just being mean. I mean, getting gum on somebody's clothes, that's awful. It's not horrible, but it's mean. It's self-centered. You're just being a jerk. So Adrien tries to get the gum up, and as he's going to get the gum up, Marinette walks in, catches him, and thinks he's the one who put the gum on the chair. Now, by the end of the episode, or the 2-parter, or whatever, she forgives him. And I honestly believe, they don't say it, but I honestly believe this is the first time in Adrien's life, in his entire life, where this poor, neglected child has actually just been forgiven. No cost, no consequence, no having to make it up. She just forgives him. And I don't think he's ever experienced that before. He certainly doesn't seem to have experienced that before. Whenever he makes a mistake, he expects to have to pay for it in the show. And with Marinette, it's the first time he doesn't have to. And I think that forms an attachment for him that he's desperately needed. He lost his mom. His mom disappeared about a year before the start of the show. It is strongly hinted that she was using a broken Miraculous, which is where they get their powers from, and that the broken Miraculous caused her to go into maybe a coma or possibly killed her, but I think it's into a coma. They're vague, and that's okay. It's a kid's show. I don't think anybody's died in this show, so it's a kid's show. It's like when I watched G.I. Joe when I was a kid, many, many years ago. And everybody, whenever a plane got shot down, you could see the guys parachuting out. It's a kid's show. There's a lot of depth there. You got to look for it. There's a lot of subtleties and a decent amount of psychology that they're using for these characters and understanding them. How Adrien manages to be so well adjusted, the only explanation I can come up with is that he is rebelling against his parents. He is rebelling against everyone else he knows And his rebellion takes the form of not treating people the way everybody treats him, of choosing to be a better person than the people around him because he doesn't like it. And instead of acting out or, yelling or screaming or whining, he decides he's going to change their minds by treating them the way he would like to be treated. And I hope it works out for him. The rest of the show it's all right. It's a good show. It's every episode stands alone. It's got a format to it. The bad guy creates a supervillain for them to fight. They fight him. They beat the supervillain. Boom, end of the episode. There's love quadrilateral, because Marinette is, love square, I guess you'd call it. It's not a triangle. Marinette is in love with Adrien, has a crush on Adrien, because he starts treating her nice, and he's a good-looking guy. But she's crushing on him after that first origin story. She didn't like him at all, but after she forgives him, the two of them she starts crushing on him and realizing that he's special. I think he starts realizing she's special, but it's taking him a lot longer. But in the meantime, his alternate personality there, Cat Noir, is in love with Ladybug, her alternate personality. So she's in love with the civilian, and the superhero for him is in love with the female superhero. So they're kind of star-crossed with each other, which is stupid, but it works. So Adrien doesn't think he's in love with Marinette. He thinks he's in love with Ladybug, and he's too virtuous. He won't cheat on Ladybug, even though she's told him a couple of times already by season 3 that she's in love with somebody else. And they're not allowed to know each other's identities, which is pure plot convenience. It's just there for the plot. It doesn't actually make sense because two of the other superheroes, the turtle guy and the fox girl, know each other's identities. So, yeah, they figure it out eventually. I think that's season 2, beginning. No, I think that's season 2. I know, a little bit of a spoiler. Anyway, I don't even think Adrien's mother was not a selfish jerk. I think she was very much a selfish jerk. Adrien spent his entire life without hanging out with kids his own age and getting to know them. This was done on purpose, and she's only been gone a year. So if he's 15, that's 14 years of her being part of this. That's a long time. All right, I guess that's it. If you have to watch a show with your kids, this isn't a bad one to watch. I'm not saying you'd enjoy it on your own, especially if you're my age. It's pretty silly. It gets more serious as the show goes on. That first half of the first season, though, man, if I was not paying that much attention the first time through. I wasn't paying that much attention the second time through. It's really, really formulaic at the beginning. It gets less so as it goes on, and it's a kid's show. By season 3, it's more enjoyable for an adult viewer. You start picking up on a lot of this stuff. You start seeing the subtle, and they put in subtle changes. The way Adrien acts towards Marinette changes, grows over the 3 seasons. She has bigger moments, much bigger moments, but it's a slower growth for her. Yeah. Anyway, it's cold. I'm out in the snow. I'll see y'all later. Enjoy. Miraculous Ladybug. Again, can't recommend it for adults, but if you got to watch it with the kids, there's stuff there to enjoy for you. Adios.